The mentality of the mind and money matters. A few things came up in the last bull cycle that I noticed with people who had issues around accepting their acceptance of what having made such wealth in a given trade. And a lot of the times people seem to struggle with holding on the longest. In this market there's never a give or take, but there is a point where you must accept within yourself the ability and the judgment in which you took to remove yourself off those trades that you had first taken. And in that, it requires a lot of inner strength, as these markets are very emotional markets. They are driven by emotion. If you had, say, from an individual perspective, been recommended by a friend and then informed by another friend, but you didn't hold long and your heart wasn't in it in the first place, then you're not going to want to stay the long haul to see the journey of such a token take off. And the reason why you pulled yourself back, and if you did, I know of a person who really, there's a person on YouTube who made a video of himself feeling very awkward in his decision to cancel a trade where he had sold Shiba for a few K profit, and even though it could have gone on for much more value, this is the issue that is happening in the acceptance of the way we make these decisions within ourselves and the value we have in our thoughts of making the right choices for us. Because it's about being open and accepting the changes these choices have over our lives. And when they are driven by emotion, by these emotions, and when they're in such a paradox of issues within us that we are otherwise not dealing with, then we best take the lesson over what it otherwise could have done. Because otherwise could have done doesn't mean anything for what it can do. And this is the difference. And when you think about it and how the impact to create such change with wealth in your life is about creating the wealth within yourself and how it can help you in your life, not just become a part of it. And it's important to understand the emotional side of these values that are otherwise not spoken of or hinder us from our best. And I wanted to touch on it because of what I have been through in my own acceptance of where I am in my life. And there is a link to monetary reward But to understand it is to understand it as a weight, and that weight can affect the rest of your own decision-making ability. And when that weight is more or less, then we have to fix it so that it's balanced within our other everyday activities. And so we must somehow understand where these errors are coming from within us. And the only way we can understand is through what our emotions are telling us within our actions that we are taking, that are either good for us or not so good for us. And in terms of the person taking the money out too early, was because his heart was not in it already when he was already recommended by a friend. It was through his friend he had put the money in the first place, where he was already half-heartedly challenging himself to invest in the token in the first place. But if you really wanted to, you could have always gone back in and bought in at the bottom, because when there is a market high, there is always going to be a market bottom and another high somewhere along within time. Now, these decisions and these choices that we make through our emotions are imperative to our own understanding of how we see and perceive money in its own entity. And it's a difficult thing to do, but once we begin to understand, we can even decipher manipulation in what is happening within our own salary or our own earnings. And if ever you felt like you're not making enough, or you feel like you should be making more, and you've asked yourself why you're not, and how many times have you come to the conclusion that the job you're in is no longer satisfactory for you? So you're always searching for something else that you feel satisfied, but maybe can never find something satisfactory. And a lot of the times that may be due to a manipulation of somebody kind of trying to sabotage, even maybe yourself trying to sabotage your own efforts in finding your own passion, and there is something holding you back within your emotions that you're not letting go of otherwise. And this could also hinder you and impact you significantly. And in a 10-minute talk, it's never going to be enough to really kind of drive home until you look at those points in your life and you measure those points and you measure those decisions and those choices by working out the value of what something has given you in the past to your present, and where you want to go in the future is by being more present within yourself in the today, whereas otherwise you may not have been in the past. That could have affected those decisions, and overestimating or underestimating your ability to strive. And it's something that I'm wanting to touch on a bit more, but it can take quite a lot to kind of delve into such a hefty subject. But I think I want to take it slowly and start off with this